Before I proceed with this video, I understand it might go on for quite a while. We're going to be looking at some interesting camouflage skins. We're going to be doing some comparisons. So we're going to be here for quite a bit. We're going to be doing some interesting things in game. But by all means, if you're a returning viewer, for example, well, you might have seen something that you liked, but you want to see it again. So by all means, just look in the description, scroll down. Everything I'm about to do is chaptered. Like, you could be a new viewer right now, and you might be intrigued. You might be interested. Oh, what we're about to see. Well, just look in the description. Everything's chaptered. You're more than welcome to take a look at that. And so that, good day, Rusk enjoyers. Why are we looking at the Forest Raiders collection on Rust Help? Well, there's a good reason for that. As you might notice, if we were to remove the deplorables, all of the clothing and the armor is still worth over $400. I don't think many people can afford that, but I think a lot of people would agree. Forest Raiders is super helpful, like the grassy fields, the forests, you name it. Yeah, there's a reason why it's expensive. But it's also partly due to the fact that we just don't see that much camouflage skins being accepted, do we? It's not a common sight in Rust stores. So, okay, understood. But now let's also switch over to Desert Raiders. Remove those weapons. Oh, look at that. It's worth over $300. Who could afford these things? Well, you know, there's probably a lot of people that got these when they were a lot cheaper, held on to them. Yeah, they're lucky. But the point still remains. If you're new, it's not exactly super approachable in trying to get some camouflage skins. Now, a good 3 months ago, at the very beginning of this year, I uploaded the best budget camouflage skins in Rust. It might have had a different title when you saw it, but anyway. I went ahead, I grabbed some interesting and some fairly useful looking skins, and I showcased some nice budget options. Now, budget varies in terms of price. Again, when you watch this, and if you look at the prices now, they might be different, they might be cheaper, they might be more pricey. I went ahead and I showcased some things that were a lot more approachable and easier to afford in comparison to Whiteout, Forest Raiders, and Desert Raiders. What are we here for, though, Hedge? What's going on? Well, there's a reason why I only brought up the Forest Raiders set and the Desert Raiders set first. So if I could just quickly hop out of here like so. I want to quickly go ahead and remind you that recently I've been yapping about a certain Tier 2 armor that appeared for Easter Week 1, 2026. You might recall that in my Abnormals video right here. Oh, look at that. Look what's on display. I've already showcased this in the way I'm about to showcase, but I realised not too many people probably watched this and saw it with their own eyes. Also, of course, I have made short videos as well, as you can see there, standing in a grassy field, standing in the desert. I'm here to talk about Easter Bloom Tier 2. Almost ruined that, but don't worry, we'll continue. So, if I could now switch over to here, boom. You might remember this Easter Rust store. Now, at first glance, you might sit there and say, nobody really cares about Easter skins. And, well, look at the prices now. It's only been 1 week. Ooh, look at that. But the Tier 2 armor, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, that looks pretty interesting. But, you know, it's got, like, the colours on it with the flowers and the carrots. Whatever. I didn't really expect much of it. But once I put it on and started looking, like, around it and whatnot, I thought to myself, well, hang on a minute. Let's just take a step back. Oh. Okay. Now, you might sit there and say, what are you going on about? When you're, like, a certain distance away from it, you don't notice the colours. Oh. Okay, what does that mean then? It's pretty good for camouflage. And if you just quickly, you know, hop out of here again, let's just look at Forest Raiders again. If we just add up just the Tier 2 armor, for example, well, that's almost $65 for just for the coffee can, 65. If I now look ahead with the vest here, oh, look, that's another 65. This is about 107, let's just say 106. That's pretty pricey. If I was just to round it up, it's close to $250 just for the Tier 2 armor and Forest Raiders collection. What? Anyway, that's a little bit too pricey, don't you think? Yeah. And that's the reason why I'm thinking, you know what, I gotta go ahead and showcase this Easter Bloom set to you. Have a special dedicated video just to showcase that you might have a very nice affordable Tier 2 armor to utilise. Now, if I could also quickly switch over to here. Let's just get a quick look at Desert Raiders again. $37. $37 almost. And $26. Yeah, that's also quite pricey as well. you're looking at around $100 just for Desert Raiders Tier 2. But as we hop back over to here, as you'll notice, all three of these pieces are still around the same price they sold for in the Rust store, around $2 a piece, around $6 for all three pieces here. Now again, you probably didn't even notice, but once you see it with your own eyes, I'm sure you're going to change your opinion. Now let's also point out another thing. What makes this potentially a very nice investment is the fact that it didn't sell that much. 8,400 subscribers almost for the kilt, 8,149 subscribers right here for the coffee can, and just over 8,000 subscribers for the vest. That is really not that much. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's quite normal to see skins on average do about, like, let's say 15,000 subscribers, something like that. Usually for the weeks of 2026, I would sit there and say that's probably quite average. Maybe at least more than 8,000. Let's go with that anyway. There is also a possibility that next year we might see a sequel. We could see Hoodie and Pants. We could see Tier 3. But we've got to wait until Easter 2027. So, okay, understood. But you can still mix and match with other skins. Again, we've already made this video back over to here. So, looking at the best camouflage options, the budget camouflage that is. We've already pointed out for like green clothing, you could just grab yourself some flashbacks. It might be a little bit more pricier now, but it's definitely a lot more cheaper in comparison to Forest Raiders. Same can be said with like the Fallen clothing with the desert camouflage and whatnot. Again, if you liked it. So I reckon we now need to hop in game and just get a good look at this Easter Bloom set. So first of all, let's hop in game and get a good look at it in a foresty area. And here it is, the star of the show, Easter Bloom Tier 2. So, I'm sure you can instantly notice exactly what I was talking about in regards to all the different colours and whatnot. Bird eggs, flowers, carrots, what? It's an Easter skin. So, alright, it also represents like springtime, spring season. You get the idea. So let's just get up close because you're probably looking at this and thinking, Hedge, what on earth are you on about? You're sitting here proclaiming that this is going to be very useful, very helpful, diverse camouflage. Yeah, because you haven't fully noticed it yet, have you? You haven't fully realised why. Well, you might have, actually. Can you guess yet? First of all, let's just quickly point out it's actually not that reflective. It isn't shiny, okay? Now, of course, if I could also just mention that, hey, does it happen to glow in the dark? No glow. No flowers standing out or anything at night time. No random egg that glows or anything. It's not an Easter egg. Anyway. So, okay, we've already established that point. So, what makes this potentially some very nice, cheap, affordable camouflage? It's the fact that it's got transparency. Look at it closely. Oh. Okay. What does that mean then? At a certain distance, it will de-render. Oh. And so, to like truly understand and see this, well, let's go stand in a grassy area and we can see, see it with our own eyes. Okay, so we'll get started with the wetsuit first of all. Then the main point is to keep an eye on the colours, because the further we pull back, the harder it is to notice those colours. And as we kind of get to a point around here, whilst it doesn't like fully de-render, when you wear appropriate clothing, it feels as if it just blends in nicely. Wetsuit probably isn't the most appropriate clothing. Why don't we go ahead and put on some Forest Raiders hoodie and pants then? So now that we have Forest Raiders on, with some road sign gloves and boots as well, I thought why not? You'll start to notice the further we pull back, the more it just kind of like blends into the hoodie and pants. Is it easy to spot the orange and the blue and the purple now? Not really. So it appears that it de-renders. I'm not sure if that's actually what the case is. Like, if I now zoom in, ooh, now I suddenly see everything again. But when you're just quite a bit of a distance away, yeah. So, considering that all three of those pieces only cost, about $6 at the moment, seems to be a lot more approachable in comparison to Forest Raiders Tier 2. Now, at the very least, we probably should go ahead and put on some Forest Raiders Tier 2 as well, just to see if there's really that much of a difference. Okay, now I've essentially got a full set of Forest Raiders on. Up close, it's pretty obvious to say, well, yeah, it's a whole lot more green. No, really? Jokes aside, at the end of the day, this is the best green option. But it's also, well, no, just the tier 2 there is $250 almost. Say no more. So, okay. As we pull back, look at it closely though. Right now, I'm playing on max settings. As we pull further back, it does sort of de-render and it gets a bit darker around this point now. And it's around the same point where we noticed it's not like super easy to see all the colours with the Easter Bloom tier 2. Now, of course, if I zoom in, sadly it all comes back. Look at that. So, alright, cool. That's nice. But basically, the main point is, maybe we should also go ahead and look at this in potato settings. The lowest available settings. Maybe Easter Bloom might look a little bit better then. Okay, low. And now, whoop, get a good look at that. Let's just pan around. Yeah. So we got a clear look at that. Now, let's move further back. A little bit more. Come on, a little bit more pace. Now here's the thing. When you play in potato settings, what happens? Look at the grass. It slowly starts to disappear, doesn't it? Yeah. And that's why people play in potato settings. So I guess that matters more in regards to, well, you know, if other people playing with this, like this. But from this distance, I can't even see the tier 2 armor anymore. Let's zoom in again. And as we get closer and closer and closer, yeah, now I start to see it. As I pull back further and further and further, to be honest with you, maybe that does do a good job. What's your opinion, though? Okay, so as you can see, we're on low settings. Let's just drag this up. Look at all the details here. Yep. And now, just to kind of get the point across straight away. Boop. Do you notice any funny colours there on my body? Any eggs, any carrots, any flowers? Do you notice how the further you pull away, the grass starts to disappear as well? Well, of course, people are going to ask, hey, Hedge, can you play on low settings as well, just to see if it's super noticeable? But do you see the tier 2 armor? In fact, I can even zoom in right now, so let's just go ahead and do just that. As I get closer and closer, yeah, you'll start to notice it now. But from this distance, all the way back over to here, you can't see it. Oh. So, in theory, you could save quite a lot if you just consider switching out the tier 2 armor. If you want to. So, okay. Maybe we should still put on the Forest Raiders tier 2 as well, just to see. So, alright, cool. Let's go ahead and do that. Quick switch. And as you'll notice, at this distance, I'm looking at myself with Forest Raiders tier 2, hoodie and pants, and boots and gloves. So, okay. Is it super easy to tell the difference? And again, just to confirm, I am looking at the exact same settings as we just saw a second ago. Do you notice that much of a difference? In fact, let's switch again. Ta-da! And again, scroll up. Ta-da! Let's get up nice and close now. Suddenly, the grass will return. For I am wearing the ever so lovely Easter Bloom. No, it's, because we're getting closer. I'm joking. So, yeah. Now I start to see the colour. Now I'm up close. So, yeah, what are your thoughts in regards to what we just saw there? If you play in max settings, you're going to spot it. But if you're convinced everybody else is being a sweat and playing on potato settings, they're not going to really notice this, see, are they? So again, as I thought, pull back. It's easy to notice from there. But the further you are, even from around here, it instantly starts to lose its colour. So you're looking at, again, what? $236 for Forest Raiders Tier 2 versus $6 that is Easter Bloom. I guess it's not, you know, worth a try. Hey, your opinion, offer it, comment below. So, yeah, not too bad there. But there's one more thing that I should go ahead and address. And that, of course, being Thorned Love Tier 2. Funnily enough, the skin creator that made this also made Easter Bloom. But I had a lot of people asking me, hey, Hedge, can you showcase this? Can you showcase this? Can you showcase this? I've seen it with my own eyes. I don't think this is as good as Easter Bloom. And, of course, I've known about that for a while now because, of course, this appeared for Valentine's 2026. This saw twice as much in comparison to Easter Bloom. But does it compare? There's one way to find out, isn't there? So now we're back to max settings, as you can see here. All right, cool. And ta-da! So in regards to Thorned Love, what personally put me off was the fact that it's got red. Red and green. Now it also happens to have some transparency, like we just saw at the Easter Bloom. But based on what I saw, the red does stand out a little bit more in comparison to what we saw with the Easter Bloom colours. But maybe it's just me. Now, if you happen to be colourblind, I don't think that's fair. I'm joking, but point still remains. So let's just pull back. So as we start testing this out, first of all, to be honest with you, the red just, it does kind of diminish. It does kind of diminish, but I do notice like quite a bit, like a big chunk of red right there where the heart is. A bit further back. From around here, it's not as easy to notice. Now, of course, you might have seen with your own eyes, Thorned Love Tier 2 and Easter Bloom Tier 2, they are around the same price. They're both around like $6 for all three pieces. What's your opinion then? Max settings, are you impressed with what you just saw? Just a wounded forest raider, Mr. Nothing But Dude says. Well, we're back to low settings again. Ta-da! I'm quite impressed, to be honest with you. That's actually looking pretty sweet. Let's also zoom in. And I've got to say, look, I'm going to be very nitpicky. I think it's easier to notice the red a little bit sooner. And that's just a little bit. Like, you might sit there and say, I prefer this. And you know what? You're more than welcome to do so. I think both the tier 2 options that we pointed out today, of course, Easter Bloom and, of course, Thorned Love, I think they do pretty decent jobs. It's just I think Easter Bloom's a little bit better. But they're around the same price. You can honestly just grab both if you wanted to. If you wanted to. So, at this distance, yeah, it's not doing too bad of a job. Let's slowly get closer and closer now. So as we get to around here, the grass starts to appear. I can still see the red heart. I can still see the red heart. And now I start to see a lot more of the red on the body. And there you go. Yeah, so. Well then. What's your opinion? Do you prefer Easter Bloom or Thorned Love? I know you're just going to sit there and say, just stick with Forest Raiders. Fine. Go spend about $400 then if you want to. This is all about trying to have a budget. Right then. So one extra thing I also wanted to point out. If you want to kind of lean in with, more of a budget, you can actually save even more if you switch out some more things with the Forest Raiders. Just switch in some Flashbacks Hoodie and Pants. As you can see here, currently, April 14, 2026, $3. And then we switch over to the pants, $8.50. Well, I mean, that's $11.50, right? In comparison to Forest Raiders, $46.23. If you potentially want to save yourself about $50 to $60, it's just a consideration. But how about we go ahead and showcase that as well? We do like to give Flashbacks a good shout out, don't we? We do it a lot. But personally, I do believe that's the best clothing option in comparison to Forest Raiders Hoodie and Pants. Would you agree? So, let's pull back now. This is max settings. Come on. And I'm seeing very similar results to what we just saw about 5-10 minutes ago. So you're telling me, just by making these switches, we could probably save around $300? Yes. Yes, you could. If you like it. And back to low settings. Boom, boom, boom. Well then, what do you reckon? I'll zoom in now. And you'll see, yeah, that's also doing a fantastic job. But again, you know, that's all situational. If it was moving, would it be a lot more easier to notice and whatnot? Alright, fair. But based on what I've showcased so far, what are your thoughts? Do you think it holds up? Do you think Easter Bloom 2 fares nicely as a green forest camouflage option? Offer your opinion. Feel free to comment below. Okay. Shaded wood area. Can you spot me? Pause the video. Go. I mean, it probably shouldn't have been that hard to spot me, right? If I just go over to here. Ta-da. As I get closer and closer, then you start to notice the Easter bloom. Oh then. Not bad. And I'm still wearing flashbacks as well. So, okay. What are your thoughts in regards to that? To be honest with you, I should probably go show off some more shaded areas and whatnot. So, okay, fair enough. Go on, pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. And here I am, simply standing amongst a hill. And, well, pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. I'm blending in quite nicely. Just a bit of shade. Really does make that much of a difference. I can confirm in both the previous instances I was on max settings, and again, max settings here as well. A rocky portion of the hill, a bit of lighting. If I pull back, again, after just a bit of a distance, is it even that easy to notice the colours on the tier 2 armour? Flashbacks is also doing a very good job. What can I say? And now we really are in the shaded area of the woods. Hidden amongst the trees. What do you reckon? Is it easy to spot? I can kind of see the orange, but it's not getting any easier. And yeah, now it's not super easy to spot. It doesn't stand out that much. But again, offer your opinion. Feel free to comment below. Is it good in the jungle? Yes, everything's good in the jungle. Well, I mean, if you stand in the shade, if I move the sun around a little bit, dun, 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 you might be able to spot me now. But I've already made a video in the past talking about decent options for the jungle. Honestly, you just need some dark clothing in most instances. But, you know, I'll pan over to here and you can see me now. Yeah, good look at that. But the jungle does have a big variety of colours. Mostly green though. Well, guess what? I'm mostly green. And to be honest with you, still I don't think that's that bad. We just pull back a little bit more. And yeah, we've basically already kind of showcased this, haven't we? So, alright, cool. Understood. If you want to learn more about useful green options for the jungle, I'll link this video in the description of this video. And as you see, there's tons of chapters for that as well. Tons of chapters. But again, you might want to go back to that and just quickly remind yourself how good this or that was. So, yeah. I'll also point out there's also a primitive skins video as well. So, again, tons upon tons of chapters. Now we're at the Jungle Monument. Again, up close. You're going to see the carrots. We've already established that. What do you think when we see it right here? And back to low settings. So, well then, at this distance, all the colours have basically disappeared. Interesting. So let's just point out where I am. Are you going to be easy to spot? Low settings, quick look. Can you spot me? Go. Can you? Let's get up nice and close. So, Was I next to the tree? Was I in the shade? I mean, of course I was in the shade. There you go. Over to here. Do you see the carrots? Do you see the eggs? Do you see the flowers? What do you reckon? Hmm? Well, let's pull back again. Let's get to around here. And then we'll move the sun around as well. So, of course, with the light, yeah. But with just a bit of shade, it helps. With just a bit of shade, it helps. So, alright then. I reckon we've seen enough in the grassy green areas, the forests, the jungle. How about we now go ahead and showcase it in the desert? The desert? No, surely, no, Hedge, surely not, no, okay. Guess we're doing this then. When you see it with your own eyes, you'll realise. Okay, fine, well. Let's pull back. So I'm playing on max settings, and once we get to around here, the colours of the tier 2 armour does start to, well, magically vanish. So if I could now stare at this for a bit, observe, what do you think? I zoom in, and suddenly it reappears. The colour, wow. And now let's slowly start to pull back, little by little by little by little by little. And then basically, yeah, you just probably saw it de-render right there. Back to where we were. Huh. Well, let's slowly get back. And the closer we get, at one point it will just suddenly pop in. Let's see if we can see it happen. Are you going to pop? Are you going to pop? Any second now. There you go, pop. Alright then. So, do you think that's good enough? Well, of course, we've got to go ahead and do a comparison. Time to whip out the full set of Desert Raiders. Boom, boom, boom. Right, so, max settings. A very lovely looking desert theme set. Oh, yes, indeed. And again, there's a reason why this is very, very expensive. Nothing really compares to it. Or is there? Anyway, so let's start pulling back. So, even up close, very good. Even from afar, very good. Yeah, that's the best. But it's also very pricey. And what we're here today is to try to point out, well, you know, does this tier 2 armor we happen to be using, is it a nice cheaper option? Well, again, it's your opinion. Some of you very well may sit there and say, Hedge, I'm not convinced. Alright, fair enough. But I've been showcasing this for a while now, and I've had quite a lot of people sitting there and saying, okay, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Right then, so, yep, you're the best. Well, in this environment. How about we now test it out in low settings? Resolution lowered, graphics low. So, okay, cool. Do you notice that much of a difference? Let's pull back. To be honest with you, it kind of stands out a little bit more now. Ah, that's a bit silly, isn't it? Oh, and then suddenly it's gotten a bit darker. Yeah, potato settings in the desert's quite funny. So, okay then. Get a good, you know, good glimpse of this. In fact, let's pull back until the grass de-renders. There you go. There you go. Right, that's probably where we should, like, pause now. Let's now switch in the Easter Bloom Tier 2. The screen is the same. The graphics are the same, as you can see. Right. Easter Bloom Tier 2. So, as we get closer and closer and closer, the grass, you know, reappears. And when does the armor reappear? Around now. There you go. Okay. Well then. I've got to say, from a distance, it did take a while for me to actually notice it. I'm quite impressed with the desert. And you'd never have guessed something this colourful being this effective. Not in just one environment, but two. Now, again, you can offer your opinion. I mean, we could go all the way further back again. So what we'll do next is zoom in instead. So, yep, do you notice how it suddenly gets dark? look at my body, right? So once we get to around there, do you notice how it suddenly got darker? Yeah, there you go. Right, so once that happens, suddenly it's not so easy to see the armor anymore. And once we get round to here, you can't really see a thing. So as I now zoom in, slowly the armor will reappear. Slowly it will become visible again. And there you have it. Right, so Desert Raiders Tier 2, around $100. Easter Bloom Tier 2, well, $6. Huh. Well, we'll sit here and say this. By the time you watch this video, it might change. In fact, some of you might be watching in the further future. Feel free to comment below. Tell me what the price is. I'll be very curious. Right, anyway. So, alright, that's cool. But could we potentially save a little bit more? With the green set, you switched out the hoodie and pants. Could we probably do that again? Right, so let's just get this point across. Desert Raiders hoodie and pants. Yeah, that's about $75, $76. Okay. That's kind of pricey, isn't it? Do we have a cheaper alternative? Could also just quickly point out, I'm quite surprised to see Desert Raiders boots are only like $3. Gloves, $6. It's a bit pricey, but maybe it's not too bad. Anyway, if you saw my budget video back in January 2026, you know I'm going to mention the Fallen collection. You know I was. Now, in that video, I was very confident with the Fallen hoodie. It's the pants that kind of give it a bit of a problem. You get this red portion here that's pretty easy to spot. But I thought, you know what, I'll go grab the gloves as well. So let's just point this out. $1.42, $1.75. Like these three pieces here, that's about $4. No, you're looking at maybe about $3.50. Yeah, that's kind of cheap, isn't it? Considerably cheaper in comparison to Desert Raiders. So, all right then, let's go switch that in. Does it work as a budget alternative? Max settings. Max settings. What do you think? Well, from this distance, it's doing a pretty good job. But if I could start zooming in now, so... You might notice the legs pretty easily. But of course now you can see all the colours in the tier 2. So let's slowly pull back now. So once you get to around there... Alright. To be honest with you, from a distance, that actually does pretty good. Now let's actually get all the way up close. Closer. Come on. Come on. So of course in a second we'll also showcase this in low settings, but I think that's doing pretty okay. Right then. What's your opinion? And of course I kept the Desert Raiders boots. I'd even switch out the Forest Raiders gloves and boots earlier, so yeah, that was on me. But we're here to basically just showcase the tier 2. And considering the hoodie and pants are like basically right next to each other, I thought, okay, we only really need to focus that. So yes, up close, you notice the red. From a distance though, not super noticeable. How about we now go ahead and showcase it in very low settings. Lower resolution, low graphics. Cool. Boom. Alright then. Suddenly I got a little bit more fuzzier. Well, you know. Okay then, so let's start to pull back. So once we reach a certain point, shade. Once we reach around here, you don't really see the tier 2 that much. I do still see my pants. What better option could we have for pants? Then again, they are 75 cents. But, you know, let's just pull back a bit more. Okay. From here, it's not really that much of a problem. But, come on, we want to see it when it's got, like, no grass around me. There we go. Right. Well, it doesn't seem like a problem to me now. What's your opinion, though? First of all, let's just zoom in. So the closer I get with the zoom, the easier it is to notice the legs. And more specifically, it's the left leg over to here. That devilish one. Look at him. Look at him. In the middle. I can't zoom in anymore. But from like here, it's not really that much of a problem. No. So maybe I'm just being very nitpicky. But again, what is your opinion? Do you like what you see? And chat, are there any other potential options for some pants? Ah, there you go. BUSCADOR pants. I didn't even know these existed. Yes, some things like that can slip through my mind. Chat. Only $4 a piece for now. Well then, how about we go whip them on and let's see if it fares better compared to Fallen pants. Max settings. Perfect resolution. A perfect pair of legs. Where have you been? I didn't realise. I didn't have this in my January 2026 budget video. Well, if you watch this, you're learning. Okay. Well then, BUSCADOR pants, only $4 a piece. Yeah, it's a little bit more in comparison to Fallen pants, but I think I'm going to be a lot more happy with this. And again, just to point out, I'm still happy with the hoodie. The hoodie's still fine with me. That's only $1. Like, this pairing with the hoodie and pants, still cheaper in comparison to like Flashbacks hoodie and pants for the green stuff. So, okay, we can't complain. But I've got to sit here and just laugh at this. Like, this is good desert camouflage. Sure, buddy. For the people who haven't got like all the context from the video, they'll probably be laughing right now. But from just a bit of a distance away, let's go ahead and showcase it. So let's pull back. Come on. Let's start pulling away. So now that we've got like just a bit of a distance away, suddenly the colours from the tier 2 disappear. I will sit here and say it does look as if at a certain point the pants are darker. I mean, you can debate that if you want. You can just rewind a bit and look at the pants, the Fallen pants from just a bit of a distance away. But that's looking pretty good. That does appear to be looking pretty good. Now, of course, if we just move back even further, yeah, I am impressed. Well, how does it look at low settings? Low settings. Low settings. Lower resolution. Boom. So what's your opinion? Well, first of all, we should zoom. And yeah, I can see the pants. I can see everything. Let's slowly pull back. Slowly, slowly, slowly. I'm actually quite impressed with what we have there. So, okay. Yeah, opinions. Feel free to comment below. Are you impressed with what you saw in the context of the desert biome? That's actually pretty good. That is looking pretty good. So, okay. I mean, those people, they laughed at us. They took one look at this and they laughed at us, but who's laughing now? I'm covered in carrots and flowers and what appears to be eggshell. It's me. It's me. All right, anyway. So, should we now test this out in some shade? I mean, well, you could just easily just do this, Hedge. Da, 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 da. Look at that, my own shadow. But no, come on now. Let's make it a little bit darker. Let's make it as if it's like dusk and dawn. Still low settings, by the way. So I remember testing this out in the budget video. This does seem to do quite nicely when it's like dusk or dawn. Make it a little bit darker as well, because I know some people might be concerned about the colour of it when it gets dark. So, from a distance, low settings. That's not too bad. In fact, I think that blends in very nicely with like the desert area. And you're going to sit and say, what about like actual pitch black dark? Nothing stands out in actual pitch black dark unless it glows. So, you know, let's go. Whoop. Ta-da! Alright then, so I think we've got that point well showcased. Let's now make it max settings again and, you know, do the same thing. Boom. Boom. Okay. So let's just pull back a bit. Make it darker. Yeah. So again, I repeat, it's not very reflective, which is a bonus. You don't want to be super reflective. You don't want to, like, shine or stick out in any way. Again, I do have carrots. But if I pull back a bit, I do happen to blend in quite nicely with the scenery. The rocks in the background, you notice how they suddenly get like a bit lighter and reddish? Yeah, well, I do too. And now, of course, pitch black darkness. So, okay, cool. What about some actual shaded areas, though? Well, let's go ahead and do just that then. Well, there you go. Just beside a rock. What do you reckon? Do you notice the colours on the tier 2? Do you notice the hoodie? Do you notice the gloves? What about the pants? Do you notice? Different type of rock. Pretty much the exact same shade. Pretty much the exact same shade. Now, if I could also adjust the light a little. Get a good look at him. Can we go all the way around again? Yeah. So now we're going to go this way instead. All the way around. What do you think? I think it's doing pretty good. I think it's doing a lot better than what I initially thought. Like, what about you though? Has it done a lot better than what you were thinking? We don't really have like tons of trees and whatnot. So I went to the oasis and stood in a bush. Ta-da! What do you reckon? Not too bad. Again, adjust the lighting. Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Well, the lighting's facing that way, so let's pull back. I think someone with a decent pair of eyes would notice you. Maybe not here, though. Maybe not from here. Well, what's your opinion? So, yeah. Shading with this actually works out very nicely. I'm actually quite impressed. So, okay. Do you want to go ahead and test it out in the snow biome as well? Yeah, you do, don't you? Alright, okay, come on then. Let's go to the snow. Max settings, ta-da. As you can see here. Look, I was joking. I was joking, right? I don't really consider this to be like camouflage. Again, let's just zoom in first of all. Yeah, you spot the colours pretty quickly. And you know what you can do instead? There's actually a cheaper option than this. You could just go grab yourself a snow camo jacket. Just saying. So, yeah, it de-renders. But I can still see it. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too judgy. Like, with its colour scheme, it looks as if it could do pretty good with both Forest Raiders and Desert Raiders. There's a cheaper option in the respective biomes, which of course we just tested out. But I think we've just been a little bit too silly now with the snow. Don't make me test it in the snow. Look, listen. I'm looking at it. I'm panning around. It's silly. And again, I'll pull back. I've got a nice plain white patch just behind me there. In fact, I could also just move this around like so. There you go. That's a little bit better. It's still visible. It's still visible. I'm not really a fan of that. Now, you might sit there and say, oh, I'm good with that. Hey, if you want to. But at the very least, I will go ahead and showcase it in low settings as well, just to get a nice visual. Lower resolution, low settings, and, well, boom. It's not as if there's grass in this biome anyway. But let's just zoom in. Get a good look at that. And yeah, it does appear pretty easily. Again, having the full white, it's not too hard to comprehend. It's going to be easier to see. So as I pull back, yeah. Now again, from this distance, looking at any armor on it might be pretty hard. So, yeah. But what's your opinion? Again, I didn't actually intend to go over to here. I was just joking, but I know people are going to ask, so yeah, fine, I'll go showcase it. I'm not joking when I say you can just go grab yourself a snow camo jacket. Probably costs around $1.50 at the moment. It would be cheaper than this vest, road sign vest. In regards to like a kilt, maybe even a coffee can, well, consider watching my budget video. You could just probably go grab yourself Thunder Gold, for example. That's still reasonably approachable. It's white armor as well, so okay, fair enough. But at least we still went in and checked. Problem is, though, some people here also asked me, Hedge, could you go sit in a cave? Max settings. I don't even know why I even entertained this idea. To be honest with you, just wear Island Assault. That's nice and grey. You're much better off, I believe. So, yeah. Like, you can't even be that much of a distance away to really kind of hide this with the de-rendering. I'm not joking. Just go wear full Island Assault. Much better. Much, much better. And so now I'll wrap this up. As you can see there, the coffee can, $2.10, only 12 sales in the past 24 hours. For now. I mean, we'll see how things pan out from here. But I do want to be nice and open and say I was talking about this before it left the store. When I had the Rust rotation video for Easter week 1, that was like the one thing I cared about. Because again, people don't really care about Easter themed skins. It's just how it is. I look at the vest, $1.93. It has actually slipped below its Rust store price. Again, only 12 sales in the past 24 hours. And then over to here, the kilt. 16 sales in the past 24 hours. Just over $2. Not even profitable right now because, of course, you had to sell it for $2.30 just to make a penny profit. So, yeah. After that showcase, after also showcasing some other cheap clothing options as well, were you impressed with its performance in the foresty green areas, the shaded areas, and, of course, the dry desert areas? Feel free to comment below. Again, your opinions, they matter. It'll be interesting to see what people think, and it'll be interesting to see what happens to these next. I was waving my arms about, telling everybody about this, and I will be open and say, of course, consider looking at my YouTube. No. I did go ahead and buy some for myself. I did, in fact, do that. But after doing the abnormal borders, after seeing it rotate out from the store, I was being pretty vocal saying I was going to buy some. So, yeah. All you need to do is just watch that abnormal video right there at the very end. I did say I was going to buy some because we did the borders first, and yeah. And if you don't understand what abnormals are, that's a whole nother can of worms. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will be having some other insightful videos like this throughout the rest of this year. What's next? Well, it might be about doors. Well, we'll see anyway. So, again, I hope the video is nice, concise, and straight to the at the very end, he makes a mistake. Well, I kind of made a lot anyway. Anyway, I hope the video is nice, concise, and straight to the point. I hope it was easy to understand and see with your own eyes. And again, your opinions. If you think I could have done something a little bit better, if you think I should have stopped listening to this lot watching me, it's very late right now, though, I should say. That's it. That's a wrap. Let's see if other interesting potential camouflage options appear. I don't even think Face Punch realised themselves that could have been utilised as camouflage. Just a little bits of transparency seem to have made the difference. That's it. That's a wrap. So thank you very much to everyone who watched this all the way through. Thank you very much to all the people that offered some nice comments and some nice words. And again, we'll see what gets accepted in future Rust stores. Catch you later. saying goodbye.